Howdy, howdy. How is everyone doing? I hope everyone is having a good Sunday morning. Hope you had a good week. Glad to have you with us. Hope everyone is alive and healthy and doing well. Encourage you this morning. I know we're not together and it's a little bit harder when you're home, but be involved, sing along with us, play the games, and just try to have a good time with us, right? And as we're getting into our lesson as well, I hope that's a blessing to you. Share some pictures with us. Again, this is pre-recorded. We're having our drive-in service this morning, so it just wouldn't really work out the way we were doing it previously, but we're glad to be able to still be here with you this morning. And so we're going to go and open up in a word of prayer, and then we will go ahead and we'll start with a game. So let's go ahead and pray first. Father, Lord, I thank you for this morning. Lord, I pray you just bless. I pray, Lord, that you would just soften our hearts, open our ears, Lord. Help us to learn and help us to apply the truths that we're going to hear this morning. Lord, I pray, Lord, that we would have a good time, Lord, and that you would just bless during the drive-in services, Lord. Lord, I pray to be with those that are sick, not doing well. Lord, those that might be struggling financially because everything's going on, Lord, I pray you just have your hand in their lives, Lord. Lord, I pray that you would bless the evening services. We're going to be meeting together, Lord. Lord, thank you that we're able to do that, and I pray you just help us to remain safe while we are doing that. Remember the precautions that Pastor has put in place there. Ask us in Jesus' name. Amen.
While he's getting the game ready, I want to thank all the parents who sent in messages last week as you guys were playing the games and singing the songs, and those who worked on the Bible verses this week. We really enjoyed getting to see those things, and we did enjoy knowing that some of you were also soup and not a hamburger, which was great. I wasn't alone in that, but I did get some pretty upset messages that it wasn't hamburger, but we all know the answer was really soup. But Thank you for sending those in. We've really enjoyed it. Make sure to send them in again this week.
Sometimes the truth hurts. That's just how it is. So we are continuing in the Bible Timeline Sunday School series, and this week we're going to be talking about Abraham's request. And so we'll get into that here in a little bit. Last week's memory verse was Psalm 25:12. I hope that you worked on that with your parents. What man is he that feareth the Lord? Him shall he teach in the way that he shall choose. I know that one is a little bit longer, but it's an important verse for help us to remember that we need to submit to God and let God make the choices in our lives. And that's kind of what we're going to be talking about just a little bit, because what we're going to be talking about mostly is prayer. So, but that was last week's memory verse. This week's memory verse is James 5:16. It's not the whole verse. It's just the last part of it. The effectual fervent prayer of a righteous man availeth much. So James 5:16. So I remember, write that down and work on that. So we're going to sing some songs first before we go ahead. We're going to sing "This Is the Day That the Lord Has Made," and "Silver and Gold Have I None." Now, if you don't know these songs, we'll teach them to you because they're not super hard, right? Okay, maybe she disagrees. They are not super hard. Thanks for backing me on that one, honey.
You're welcome.
So let's go ahead and we don't have the lyrics up on there because it's kind of repetitive just a little bit. But let me move our camera up here. Okay, so I'm gonna scoot over just this way a bit, honey. So this is the day that the Lord has made. We will rejoice. And then we say, we will rejoice and be glad in it. And we'll sing it just a couple of times. So if you don't know it, listen, and then we'll repeat it again. You can sing along with us, all right? This is the day that the Lord has made, that the Lord has made. We will rejoice and be glad in it, and be glad in it. This is the day that the Lord has made. We will rejoice and be glad in it. This is the day that the Lord has made. All right, did you catch it that time? We'll sing it one more time. All right, sing along. This is the day that the Lord has made, that the Lord has made. We will rejoice and be glad in it, and be glad in it. This is the day that the Lord has made. We will rejoice and be glad in it. This is the day that the Lord has made. Now that's actually the only verse that I knew, but I looked it up and there's some different other verses. There's one, this is the week of the devil's defeat. This is the month of the Lord's triumph, and this is the year that the Lord may appear. We're going to sing that last one because I like that one the most. This is the year that the Lord may appear, and man, wouldn't that be fantastic? That would be great. But we are looking forward to when Christ returns and brings us back with him to heaven. We don't know when it will be, but it'll be a good day. So sing along with that. This is the year that the Lord may appear, that the Lord may appear. All right? This is the year that the Lord may appear, that the Lord may appear. We will rejoice and be glad in it, and be glad in it. This is the year that the Lord may appear. We will rejoice and be glad in it. This is the year that the Lord has made. All right. And whether or not he comes back, it'll still be a good year because God is still under control, regardless of our circumstances. We're going to sing Silver and Gold Have I None. All right. Now, if you don't know the song, it goes, Peter and John went to pray. They met a lame man on the way. He asked for alms, and he held out his palms, and this is what Peter did say. Silver and gold have I none, but such as I have give I thee. In the name of Jesus Christ of Nazareth, rise up and walk. All right? So if you don't know this song, maybe I probably should have put the lyrics on this one up, because this one's it isn't quite as repetitive and easy to memorize. But sing along, and I think you'll catch on pretty quickly. Peter and John went to pray. They met a lame man on the way. He asked for alms and held out his palms, and this is what Peter did say.
Oh, sorry.
Woo, it wasn't me that messed up this time.
Guys.
All right. Silver and gold have I none, but such as I have give I thee. In the name of Jesus Christ of Nazareth, rise up and walk. He went walking and leaping and praising God, walking and leaping and praising God in the name of Jesus Christ of Nazareth, rise up and walk. Silver and gold have I none, but such as I have give I thee. In the name of Jesus Christ of Nazareth, rise up and walk. He went walking and leaping and praising God, walking and leaping and praising God in the name of Jesus Christ of Nazareth, rise up and walk. All right, good job, guys. Good job. All right, now let's go ahead. We'll play our game now. Should I just leave the camera like this? We can just have a little...
Raise our heads up a little bit more.
Little heads just like...
I don't think so.
Okay, fine. I'll bring the camera down. Okie dokie. Okay, so now our game. Let's go ahead and move on here. We're going to play 3-year-old Pictionary.
I'm pretty sure I'm excited for this.
All right. The teens actually play this one already. So if you were watching the teens video, then you got spoilers. Wow. But 3-year-old Pictionary. Let's see how well you do. Okay, so let us know on the on Beth Haven Connect if you're in there. How well you did. Let's get started here. Okay. Let me make this bigger.
It's a germ.
Let me make this bigger. All right. So.
Or bacteria.
This is a picture that a 3-year-old drew. Okay. What was he trying to draw? Right. What was his intention of drawing? Was it A, a crow looking for trash to eat? B, a T-Rex with abnormal stick-like growths on his snout? Or C, a yawning deer? A, B, or C?
I want to say...
I already know the answers, so I'm going to let Miss Eternity play along with you. Miss Eternity, what do you think it is?
I want to say D, bacteria, but I'm going to go with B.
Okay, you
T-Rex.
think B? All right, Miss Eternity.
I can kind of see that one.
Miss Eternity says B. Let's see. What do y'all pick? Pick one. All right, and... A!
What?
It's a crow looking for trash to eat.
No. No, see, there's the eyes and there's the snout and there are the sticks.
Um,
I still think D is correct. This is a bacteria.
That's A. All right. Next here.
Oh, come on. This is easy.
Is it A zombie rabbit, B, a happy bat, or C, this is you, daddy? Right? This toddler, 3-year-old, was trying to draw a picture of their daddy.
Clearly, this is not A, and it is not C, but it is B, a happy bat.
All right. She thinks it's a happy bat. What do y'all think it is? What do you guys think it is? It is
Ooh,
B, a
see?
happy bat.
Pointy ears.
Nope.
Pointy ears where it's at.
Note the smile.
Mhm.
All right. Now let's see else what we got here. All right. Is it A friendly centipede, B, a superhero cat fighting bad guys, or C, the coronavirus strain? Oh no.
I'm going to go with D. It's a water bear.
There's no D.
It's a
Stop.
water
There's
bear.
no that's not an option.
I hate to say it, but I think it's a B again.
You think it's a B again.
Mm-hmm.
All right, Miss Charity thinks it's a superhero cat fighting bad guys. What do you pick? Ready? We'll find out. It is.
Oh. Ooh, I look at
That-
too many drawings from my 3-year-old.
I think that's like he has like a bunch of arms. Right?
That he's fighting the bad guys with
He's got
his
a bunch of
arms.
arms there. All right, let's find out what do we
Duh.
have next. What do we have next? Okay, we have is it A, pterodactyl? Is it B, a dragon who's also a fireman? Wow, that's kind of conflicting career right there. Or C, a rabbit relaxing in a hammock. You know what? I just got to say something real quick. We have a hammock, and it is fantastic.
Mhm.
I would highly recommend if you're able to get a hammock.
I'm gonna say this is a pterodactyl.
A pterodactyl.
It's a human pterodactyl.
Okay. Peter, are you watching?
Is this right, Peter?
That's what you would look like if you were a dinosaur. Let's see. It's B, a dragon who's also a fireman.
The one time I decide to go away from B here.
Oh my. All right, let's go ahead and what do we have here? Is it A, some sort of quail? Is it B, a T-Rex named Scott? Or C, just a plain old duck?
All of me wants to say B, but I absolutely do know this is C.
You think it's a plain old duck?
Yeah.
You don't think it's some sort of quail?
Nope.
Or a T-Rex named Scott?
Oh, you know what? You're right. It's A. It's
Okay. Miss Eternity says A.
I want to say it's a duck, but it's A.
All right, let's see what it actually is. It is C.
Are you kidding me here? You psyched me out. See that little curly Q up there? I was like, oh wait, a quail has that. A quail has that one feather that sticks out here. I'm crazy. What am I thinking?
It's just a plain old duck.
I knew
Come
it.
on. All right, let's see what else we got here. Okay. It is this A, king who's holding hands with his best friend who's a bee? That is a large B if it is. Or is it the letter B, an alien taking a guy to be probed, taking him back and examining him? Or is it C, a huge fly whacking a man with a fly swatter? What do you think, Miss Eternity?
I want it to be C, but I think it's A.
So what's your answer?
A.
All right. She thinks it's A, king who's holding hands with his best friend who's a bee. What about you? Let's see. It is B, an alien taking a guy to be probed. Come here, human.
That was rather unexpected.
I'm going to take you back to my spaceship. All right. Let's see. Okay. This one is fantastic. This is probably my favorite one. All right. Is this A, President Donald Trump? Is it B, a Yeti singing opera? Or is it C, Batman with a beard?
C. Final answer.
Okay. Oh, she's locked and
I've
loaded.
locked it in.
All right. It is.
This better be C. I'm gonna be so disappointed.
You have
if
something
it's
picked
not.
out? It is C, Batman with a beard.
Thank
yeah,
you.
let's go back. Yeah, I can see that. Batman.
Thank you.
Batman has a little working out to do. He's got a little tummy there.
I don't know what I won, but I'm excited.
Oh, you know what I just realized? The two little sticks on the left are his arms coming out, and this long thing on the
that
long
makes
thing
sense.
is
It's
his
his cape.
Yeah.
That makes more sense.
Okay, I'm not sure. I can't remember how many more of these we have. Oh. Let's see. All right, we're out. That was the last one.
How many did you get right?
How many
did you
did you
get
get?
all of them right?
All of them? Wow, that's fantastic.
That would
You're
be
so good at
epic.
this.
Did you beat me? I don't know. I don't remember how many I got right, but
We
I'll
weren't
try
counting.
to remember.
We weren't counting. Shame on us. All right, so we're going to get into our lesson. Abraham's request. Now this, we don't actually know that if this is what Abraham looked like. That's probably not an accurate depiction, but we do know that Abraham was fairly old at this point in the story. All right, and so we're gonna be looking at Genesis 18. If you want to turn there, go ahead and turn there. But before we do, let's do a quick recap. You remember what we talked about last week?
Oh, excuse me.
Wow, I'm already. She's here. This is live right now while I'm teaching, and she's already yawning. Goodness gracious. Last week we talked about Abraham and Lot. So remember, so let's try to do a fill in the blank. See if you can remember. The blank we make affect our lives. The blank we make affect our lives. Do you remember?
The food we choose.
The food we choose. No, the choices we make affect our life. All right, that's important. And I hope you remember the lesson about Abraham and Lot, the choices that Abraham made and the bad choices that Lot made. Okay, so today we're going to be talking about the story of Abraham's request. And what request is that? Well, we'll talk about it in just a second. Do you know that prayer can change God's mind about things, and it can get God to intervene? Right? What does intervene mean? Intervene means to get in the way of or to change something. Right? Prayer can change God's mind. It can intervene, get God to intervene and to change circumstances, to change things in our lives and the lives of our families and the lives of our friends as well. So in our lesson today, that is exactly what happened. But before we get into what happened with Abraham, I want to tell you a short story about another man who believed in prayer, and that man's name was George Mueller. Okay. George Mueller, and you might have heard about him before because he's pretty popular, and there's a reason why. George Mueller, he lived in England, and he ran orphanages to help boys and girls who had no family. Okay, so each day, Brother Mueller would begin his day by praying, and he would ask God to meet the great needs that were present, because it's not like that they had great support from the government or just infinite money and everything like that. George Mueller prayed, and the needs of the orphanages were met through prayer. Right? Many days they would begin the morning. They wouldn't have any food, or they wouldn't have coal to burn for warmth, and yet every day God would provide exactly what they needed. And there's this one specific instance of God answering prayer that I'd like to share with you. There was one day they didn't have any milk for the children. So Brother Mueller prayed and asked God specifically to supply their need for milk. He asked God, Lord, please provide us with milk. I'm stumbling on my words. I'm sorry about that. Just as he finished praying, there was a knock at the door. And there stood, who do you think?
The milkman.
The milkman.
It's rather warm in here, and it's zapping me of a lot of energy right now.
It is pretty warm.
It's very
in here.
hot.
Yeah. So he prayed, and when he finished praying, there was a knock at the door. The milkman was there, right? And the milkman said, "You know what? I was driving by the orphanage, delivering milk. My wheel broke. I cannot deliver this milk." And you have to remember, back in those days, this was a long time ago, they didn't have refrigerators. So what they had is what they got, and it didn't last very long. And there were some means of preserving things, but the milk would not be. Do you need to take a nap, buddy?
Yes.
You need to take a nap. Would not be preserved. Okay, so they prayed. The milkman there, he said his wheel broke. He said, "Hey, this milk's gonna go bad. My wheel's broke. I can't deliver it. Can you just take this milk and use it before it goes bad?" And the Lord provided. Lord used that circumstance. And did you see how God answered his prayer? Mueller prayed specifically, Lord, we need milk, and God gave him milk, right? And that was only one of thousands of prayers that God answered for George Mueller. And it was because of prayer. It was because of Mueller asking and trusting God that he was able to build and run those orphanage homes, the Mueller homes. And I just want to share a little bit about them. The Mueller homes is what they called the orphanages that George Mueller ran. They were built between 1849 and 1870, so a long, long time ago.
I believe, if I remember correctly, when Brother Ethan and I got to go see them in person, each brick that built the homes were specifically prayed for. Brother Mueller did not have the money to build the homes, but God supplied every single brick to build them for the children.
He prayed for each children. From
Each
what
of the children,
yeah, he prayed for each child there
by name.
specifically in those homes as well. He was a great man of prayer. And they showed the world. This was something that lots of people know about, and it was a great testimony. It showed the world that God not only heard, but He also answered prayers. And the 5 houses that were built, they housed around 2,000 children at one time. And I think throughout the time, there were 17,000 kids that passed through their doors before they were ultimately bought by the city council in 1958.
The buildings were bought by the city council.
Yeah, the buildings were bought.
And they still stand today.
They're
and
still
are
there.
used as a college, yes.
Yeah. 2 of the buildings are used as college campus, and then the 3 others were renovated and turned into flats and whatnot.
Brother Ethan and I were actually able to see them twice, and they are very beautiful.
It was awesome. It's really big, and maybe I should have got like a Google Maps satellite picture, but it's a really big place.
Mm-hmm.
And so here's a drawing, a picture of one of the first ones that was built. Here is the second one. So you can see these are they weren't just small little houses. They were big complexes. Here was the 3rd orphanage, the 4th one, and then I think I have one more. Yeah, the 5th one as well. And here we have a picture of one of the old dining halls. And I know this picture is really kind of grainy, but you can kind of tell a little bit about the detail there. And then here's actually one of some of the boys in one of their gymnasiums there. That's kind of an interesting looking playground.
Yeah, that wouldn't pass inspections.
Yeah,
now.
would you guys like to play on a playground like that? I'm not really even sure. It's just a bunch of 2x4s nailed together. And then here's some of the girls, a small group of the girls in the 2nd orphanage house there. And you see they got uniforms there, and I didn't get pictures, but there's more pictures, and they actually have a museum of some of the things he did and the uniforms and stuff they had.
It's crazy how one man impacted so many people. I mean, you got to think it wasn't just children, but everyone who worked with the children and helped run the homes.
The meals, the clothing.
17,000 children. I mean, you got to imagine the workforce behind that.
That's a
Brother
really
Mueller
big number. So
had influence.
That's a whole lot that God provided. So how was all that possible? Well, of course, God provided, and it was because George Mueller stopped.
He stopped what he was doing?
No, he stopped. Oh. What do I mean by stop? Well, I mean stop. All right, to stop. And look at this fancy animation here. Stop. S-T-O-P. Seek the options prayerfully. Right. Now, God wants to answer prayer for all His children. He wants to answer our prayers. And God wants to answer your prayers, specifically you. He wants to answer your prayers. And when you have something that comes up in your life or maybe something in one of your friends' lives or your family members, don't worry about it. Don't try to figure it all out. The first thing you should do is to stop, right? To seek the options prayerfully, right? You need to take it before God, right? And that's exactly what Abraham did in the story we're going to be talking about in Abraham's request, okay? So...
And this is the same Abraham who, last Sunday was called Abram.
Yeah. So, of course, he's still called Abram, but we're just calling him Abraham because that's what eventually his name was changed to. Mm-hmm. But you remember with Abraham and Lot, Abraham was wise, and he listened to God. He heeded God's advice. And we see Abraham continually still going to God. So we're going to see some important things that we should remember about prayer. So as we're going through the story, I want you to try to remember these things, all right? In Genesis 18, God decided to tell Abraham about his plan to destroy Sodom. Remember, that's where Lot pitched his tent, and by this time, Lot was actually now living in Sodom. So God, because of the wickedness of Sodom and Gomorrah, said, you know what? I'm going to destroy the city because they are absolutely wicked and evil and doing just the most naughty things. And Abraham knew that that's where Lot was living. So when Abraham found out that that's what God's plan was, of course, he was concerned about his nephew. He was concerned about Lot. So Abraham fervently tried to help Lot not be destroyed. He was trying to save Lot by pleading with God not to judge the city. He said, spare the city because of the righteous people that live there. And there's several things we can learn about what Abraham did. So that's what we're going to do. Learn about prayer in our lives. So turn to Genesis 18 if you're not there yet. I'm not there yet, so I'm going to go ahead and turn there. Genesis 18, and we're not going to read the whole chapter because there's a lot here. Oh, don't. All right, just use the scroll here because when you do that, it goes to the next one. All right, you got a little sneak peek. All right, of what we're going to be talking about. So Genesis 18, verse number 16, it says, "And the men rose up from thence and looked toward Sodom, and Abraham went with them to bring them on the way. And the Lord said, Shall I hide from Abraham that thing which I do? Seeing that Abraham shall surely become a great and mighty nation, and all the nations of the earth shall be blessed in him. For I know him, and he will command his children and his household after him, and they shall keep the way of the Lord to do justice and judgment, that the Lord may bring upon Abraham that which he hath spoken." So God says, you know what? I'm gonna tell Abraham what's going on. I'm gonna share with him my plans that I have. And the Lord said, "Because the cry of Sodom and Gomorrah is great, and because their sin is very grievous, I will go down now and see whether they have done altogether according to the cry of it, which is come unto me, and if not, I will know." And the men turned their faces from thence and went toward Sodom, but Abraham stood yet before the Lord. So the Lord told Abraham, I'm going to look at Sodom and Gomorrah, and I'm going to judge them. I'm going to judge them. And verse number 23, "And Abraham drew near and said, Wilt thou also destroy the righteous with the wicked?" He said, are you going to destroy all the bad people and the good people that live in the city there? "Peradventure there be 50 righteous within the city. Wilt thou also destroy and not spare the place for the 50 righteous that are therein?" So he says, hey, if there's 50 righteous people in the city, Lot he's a righteous man. What if he won other people to the Lord there and they're doing good? Are you going to kill Lot and all those other good people in the city? If you find 50 people there, will you save the city? And then the Lord said, Abraham says, "That be far from thee to do after this manner, to slay the righteous with the wicked, and that the righteous should be as the wicked. That be far from thee. Shall not the judge of all the earth do right?" Verse number 26, it says, "And the Lord said, If I find in Sodom 50 righteous within the city, then I will spare all the place for their sakes." So he says, you know what? I'll spare the city if I find 50. But then Abraham thinks, well, maybe Lot wasn't such a great Christian as he ought to, and he didn't, he wasn't a good influence, right? And it says, "And Abraham answered and said, Behold now, I have taken up upon me to speak with the Lord, but I am but dust and ashes. I know I'm not much, Lord, but please hear me. Peradventure there shall lack 5 of the 50 righteous. Wilt thou destroy all the city for lack of 5? And he said, If I find there 40 and 5, I will not destroy it." All right, and he keeps asking the Lord, and he keeps lowering until he gets to just 10 people. All right, he says, "Lord, okay, what if there's only just 10 righteous people there? Will you please save the city then?" And the Lord says, "If there is just 10 righteous, I find 10 righteous there in the city, I will spare judgment from this city." And it ends there. It says, "And the Lord went his way, and as soon as he had left communing with Abraham, and Abraham returned unto his place." So the Lord answered Abraham's request. The Lord answered his prayer. So what can we learn from Abraham? As Abraham was there praying Abraham was praying to God. Well, prayer really is just talking with the Lord. So as the Lord was there, Abraham was talking with the Lord. That was essentially Abraham praying with the Lord. So he is there. So there's some things we can learn about in our own lives, how to pray, because Abraham here, he was successful, right? Mm-hmm. He was asking God to do these things. The Lord was agreeing. He said, yeah, I'll do this. So what can we learn from Abraham for praying in our own lives towards God, right? First, Abraham got in front of God. He was there in front of the Lord. So the first thing that we need to do is, first of all, if we want our prayers to be asked, we have to go to God in the first place. Miss Eternity, I don't know if you've ever done this. Actually, anyways, I've done this for sure, all right? Where I've had a problem and I'm worried about it and I'm trying to fix it, and I will not even remember to ask God to help me with it. And I just struggle through the entire thing. Have you ever done that?
Mm-hmm.
Where I forgot about God and I didn't even go to God in the first place. And that's the number one thing that you need to remember. When there's a problem, stop worrying. The first thing that you do is go to God, right? In verse 22, it says, "But Abraham stood yet before the Lord." He was in front of God. He was talking to him and pleading his case and asking God these things. If you're going to get your answers, if you're going to get your prayers answered, you're going to have to bring them to the right place, and the right place is to bring them before the Lord. You know, Abraham didn't go and tell all of his friends all of his problems that he was having. He didn't go sit in his room and just stew about it. He went to the only one who could make a difference, and that was God. Too often we spend our time worrying about a problem instead of just praying about it. God tells us in Philippians 4:6, it says, "Be careful for nothing, but in everything, by prayer and supplication, with thanksgiving, let your requests be made known unto God." In everything, all right? So, yes.
I think a good thing to do if you're a kid and you may not know how to bring it to God is to talk to your parents and ask them if they can show you how to bring your problems to God. And have your parents pray with you and teach you how to do that.
Absolutely. That's a good point. If you're not sure, ask your parents. They would love to teach you. And hopefully you guys spend time in prayer and you're able to learn those things.
Mm-hmm.
So the first thing he did is he went to God. So number one, you need to go to God. Secondly, Abraham did not just pray one time and then stop, right? He kept praying, right? He asked God the first time. And then he asked God a second and third and fourth, and he kept asking God over and over again. And he just kept going to the Lord.
It's the same way when you want something from your parents and you ask and ask and ask and ask and ask. Even though they tell you to stop asking, you're still asking. You have to apply that same want to when you're talking to God.
Yeah, God wants you to keep asking.
You can annoy God as much as you want, unlike your parents. That's a beautiful thing.
God is forever merciful, amen. He's got so much mercy and grace and long suffering, right?
Hey.
But Abraham was very persistent. He kept asking God, and we didn't even read all the requests, but he kept asking God, "Lord, what if there's even less people? What if there's even less people? What if there's even less people?" Right? And when a God agreed to that, Abraham wasn't sure how many people was there, and he started asking God if there was only 50 people, but he wasn't sure, and he kept asking, and he kept reducing the number until there was only 10 people that was righteous in the city, and he just kept asking, and that's what you call impudence. It's a big word. Impudence is being bold or brash, right? But it's in terms of prayer towards God, that's a good thing. Going boldly before the throne, right? And constantly asking God. It's important, all right? So first, go to God. Remember, don't forget to pray. Take that to God. And then to keep on praying. Keep on asking. Don't stop until you get an answer. And God gives us several stories in the Bible that illustrate to us that God wants us to keep going to him. God wants us to keep asking, right? Until we receive an answer there. And we're not going to go into those stories, but there's one more thing that I want to talk about. Wait! There's one more thing, right? And yes, I added cats there to help keep your attention.
And they're
right?
really cute.
Yeah.
I like cats.
So pay attention. There's cats there. Now pay attention to me, okay? Right? But there's one more thing that's very important for you to know, all right? So first, go to God. 2, keep praying. But there's one more thing I want you to remember. It's that it's important to remember that your prayers are for the right reason and not for the purpose of just getting what you want, right? Mm-hmm. Take these cats, for example, right? Cats can be very selfish, right? Sometimes. And we need to make sure that our prayers are not selfish, that our prayers are not constantly just asking for things that we want, right? Colossians 3 gives us some very important things that God wants us to know as Christians, right? The first 2 verses say this. It says, "If ye then be risen with Christ," if you're saved, "seek those things which are above, where Christ sitteth on the right hand of God. Set your affection on things above, not on things on the earth." And another way we can say that is, if you are a Christian, you need to be minding the things that Christ wants you to. You shouldn't always be focused on your own needs and your own desires and your own wants. Remember, God wants to answer your prayers. He wants to hear from you. He wants to bless you in your life, but we need to remember not to be selfish about it, right? We need to be in the Lord's model prayer. Jesus didn't just pray about his own desires and things he wanted. It's like, man, I'm really thirsty. I wish God would just drop a water bottle out of heaven right now, right? We need to pray about everything and seek God's help in every situation in our lives. I'll also say that doesn't mean that God doesn't want us to ask about things that we want. God wants to, and God does give us the desires of our hearts sometimes. But we need to remember that keep our heart aligned with the Word of God, because if it's just selfish things, and we're always asking for selfish things, God's not going to be too happy about that. But we need to pray about everything in our lives, in every situation. Pray without ceasing, and remember to stop. Right? Right? We need to stop. Right? Seek the options prayerfully. When something happens, stop. Seek the options prayerfully. Pray to God. Ask. And every time you see a stop sign, let that be a reminder to you to stop. Right? And to pray to God. The Bible tells us to pray without ceasing. Someone once said if we spent as much time praying as we do grumbling, then we wouldn't have anything to grumble, to complain about. Right? Abraham knew that truth. He knew this truth, that prayer influences God. Prayer influences God. Abraham knew that. And Abraham also used prayer to help his friend, right? Why was Abraham pleading for God? Was it so he could benefit from it somehow? Abraham wasn't in Sodom. He probably had nothing to do with Sodom other than Lot, and he wanted to help his friend. He wanted to help others. And we too need to remember the power of prayer and not waste an opportunity to pray for our friends, right? Maybe your neighbor or someone at school, and God has burdened you, says, you know what, they're not Christians, they're not saved. They don't know the truth in the Bible. Pray for them. And don't stop praying for them, right? Don't stop. Maybe someone's not doing well, someone's sick, maybe someone's struggling with being in the lockdown. There's some people that just aren't doing well because they're having to stay in, they're not able to get out, maybe they lost their job. Remember to stop, to pray. And don't just pray for yourself, pray for others. Remember our memory verse for this week, James 5:16. The effectual fervent prayer of a righteous man availeth. It does much, right? It availeth much. It's triumphant. It does a lot.
Man, prayer is actually really cool if you stop and think about it.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. And there's a lot more the Bible has to say about prayer, but that's just a little bit. I hope you remember, go to God with prayer, keep praying, and stop.
And if you don't know how, please ask your parents, because I know they would love to teach you how to do that, and I know they would love to pray with you.
If you have questions about it, the best place to go is your parents or your Sunday school teacher, or you can even ask Pastor. He would love to tell you. Or me, or Miss Eternity.
We would love to tell you.
So let's have our review game. Let's see. We have a whole 7 minutes left. Man, we're doing good.
We are ahead of schedule, guys.
Woo! All right. So let's have our review game. Let's see who listened. All right. Let's see how well you do. Okay. Question number 1. How many homes did George Mueller build with prayer?
I feel like I'm cheating because I know the answer.
It's not cheating if you know the answer. That's just called studying, honey.
Oh, but I was there.
Is it A, 3, B, 4, C, 5, or D, 6? It is locked in. It is C, 5 homes. And remember, these were not just little single-person homes. These were big places.
They aren't like your homes you live in right now.
Big places. All right, question number 2. Where did George Mueller live? Was it A, Georgia, B, America, C, Ireland, or D, England? Did you remember? I think I only mentioned it once. See if you caught it. All right. You have an answer? It is D, England. You got it? Good job. Right? Good job. All right. Question number 3. Moving on here. What does it mean to stop? Is it A, select the options patiently, B, seek the options prayerfully, C, stop talking on the phone, or D, spicy tacos obviously prance?
D. D.
Final answer?
Final answer, D. I'm just kidding.
I don't think it's a D.
It's not D.
It is Do you have an answer? It is B. Seek the options prayerfully. All right. It's always remember that. Remember that. It's very important. No, question number 4. What cities were going to be destroyed? All right. When the Lord told Abraham he was going to judge, what were the cities that were going to be destroyed? Is it A. Sodom and Gomorrah? Is it B. Jordan and Canaan? Is it C. Egypt and Israel? Or is it D. Cookie Town and Frogville?
I can tell you it was not Egypt.
Well, you're giving them hints, all right? Because those aren't even cities. It is. This was maybe an easy one. This is A. Sodom and Gomorrah. Cookie Town and Frogville are actual cities in Oklahoma.
In Oklahoma?
Yes, those are both actual cities in Oklahoma.
Well, there is
Cookie Town was named Cookie Town because there was a shopkeeper there, I believe, who was known for giving cookies out to the kids. And when they became a city, they said, hey, let's call it Cookie Town. And then Frogville, can you guess why it's called Frogville?
There are a lot of frogs.
There are not only a lot of frogs, there are big frogs that are so big they're even known for eating some of the smaller ducks.
What?
Yep.
That's a nightmare I
in Oklahoma.
Never thought I'd had.
All right, question number 5. Prayer does what? Prayer blank God. Is it A, prayer helps God? B, prayer influences God? C, prayer hurts God? Or D, prayer does nothing to God?
I feel like this one's probably pretty easy.
I hope you know this one. All right. The answer is B, prayer influences God. And what does it mean to influence? Well, influence means to motivate them to do something or to change their mind, right?
Like when I continually motivate you to fix the house.
Yes.
Continually.
It's in shambles.
Mm-hmm.
Not really. I mean, not really, but yes, really. All right. Question number 6. Who was in Sodom that Abraham wanted to protect? All right. This one should be easy as well if you're listening. A. I already skipped A. A. Lot, his nephew. B. Sarah, his wife. C. Elias, his friend. Or D. Robert, his accountant. A good accountant is very important if you have complex finances.
Mm-hmm. That's some solid advice for these young kids.
You remember that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Who was in Sodom that Abraham wanted to protect? All right. It was A. Lot, his nephew. All right. Lot, his nephew. Abraham was praying. He was asking the Lord, please spare them. Question number 7. This is a review question from last week. Finish this verse. It is more blessed to blank than to blank. Is it A, it's more blessed to eat than to cook?
Amen.
Is it B, more blessed to get than to give? Is it C, more blessed to serve than to receive? Or is it D, more blessed to give than to receive?
A is appropriate, C is good, but I don't think those are the answers.
A is true, but I don't think it's in the Bible. All right, what does the Bible verse say? It is more blessed to give than to receive. Letter D. All right, Acts 20:35. Okay, question number 8. How many righteous people did Abraham ask God to find at first, the first time he asked?
Think really hard, guys.
Was it A, 5, B, 15, C, 35, or D, 50? All right, you got your answer? It is letter D, 50.
And he prayed so much, he got it down to 10.
What's the next question, Miss Eternity? Question number 9. How many righteous people did Abraham ask God to find at the end?
Can you guys tell I don't come up with these slides? And that is why all the games are very true. I have no idea what the answers are.
Is it A, 10, B, 15, C, 20, or D, 25? What do you think, Miss Eternity?
I think it may be 10.
It is, in fact, A, 10. Good job. If you didn't get that one...
we have no words for you if you didn't get that one.
If you didn't get that one, let me know, and I will pray for you. Okay? Question number 10. Oh, I got to press the button again? What is the most selfish animal in the universe? Is it A, a cat, B, a cat, C, a cat, or is it D, a cat?
C, final answer.
It is. You were right. It is a cat.
Woo!
In fact. Now that's not true.
Actually, we had a good cat.
We had a good cat. It depends on who. It depends on the cat, okay? But it was good. I'm glad to have y'all this morning. I hope y'all are doing well. Let us know. Send us a text. Send us a picture. Comment on our Facebook post there.
Send us a video of you playing along with the games or saying the memory verses.
Yeah, don't forget your memory verse, James 5:16, okay? Have a good Sunday. We are 30 seconds over. I'm sorry, Pastor. We're 30 seconds over, but I hope you have a good Sunday. I hope to see you at the drive-in service this morning if you're here attending Beth Haven. But if you're elsewhere in the world, I hope you have a good Sunday.
Give us a wave through the car.
Yeah, and we'll see you next time.
Bye.
All right, bye. This is fading out really slowly.